transportation and land use while taking into account our precious resources. In 2005, OKI adopted the Strategic Regional Policy Plan, an extensive study of how transportation relates to land use, the environment, and other types of infrastructure in our region. The plan recommends policies to improve economic vitality. The board did this work sitting as a special land use commission over a 3-year period. OKI continues to assemble a toolbox of examples and models for local governments to help put the board's plan into action. One such tool is OKI's Fiscal Impact Analysis model. Fiscal impacts are one of many considerations in the land use decision-making process. OKI's model gives decision-makers a better understanding of the budgetary implications of development. Since federal transportation investments stimulate land use change, the model was developed to give local governments a way to determine the associated costs and benefits by analyzing the budgetary impacts of alternative land use scenarios. OKI maintains a federal designation as the region's Water Quality Management Planning Agency. OKI's Water Quality Planning Program involves work that enables wastewater treatment projects to obtain permits and promotes practices to reduce stormwater runoff and restore streams. OKI's Green Space program works to conserve green space for the social, economic, and environmental vitality of the region. Part of this important work includes complying with federal requirements to consider the environmental effects of the Regional Transportation Plan. Thanks to OKI's Data Services Department, the Regional Travel Demand Model is the only one of its kind in the greater Cincinnati area. It is the heart of our transportation work. It is used by governmental and private sectors to forecast traffic volumes and transit ridership. Which brings us to OKI's Transportation Department. The majority of the resources OKI provides are related to transportation. OKI provides multimodal transportation planning, including roadways, bicycle and pedestrian, park and ride, and transit facilities. More recently, OKI's transportation staff has put much effort and attention into the movement of freight in, out, within, and through our region. The freight industry is growing, and OKI is focused on ensuring the tri-state region is prepared to handle it. The issue of freight has impacts to the region's transportation system, air quality, and economy. It is OKI's contention that global freight movements on rail, river, road, and air will dramatically affect this region as well as the nation. Having recognized the importance of freight, OKI formed a freight working group whose primary focus is on strategies to facilitate the flow of freight and stimulate economic development throughout this region. OKI's innovative approach to addressing the topic before it becomes an issue ensures that our region can continue to grow and prosper. OKI's Transportation Department is responsible for 2 documents that OKI is required to produce as a means of governing or directing transportation decisions for our region. The first document, the Long-Range Transportation Plan, is a blueprint for transportation projects within the region through the year 2030. It contains a listing of well-planned projects and programs of regional significance. It meets fiscal and air quality requirements, and it is adopted by the OKI Board. The second document, the Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP, is a listing of short-term funded projects. It contains projects of regional significance and those using federal funds. It meets fiscal and air quality requirements, and it has a 4-year planning horizon. In order to do this planning work, funding is needed. OKI's Administration Department houses our Finance Department in addition to the Executive Director's Office and Human Resources. OKI receives just over $6.1 million to provide services like the ones we just mentioned that directly impact your community, plus funding for implementation of those projects. The type of funds available for projects are as follows: $2 million in Transportation Enhancement Funds, or TE, $4 million in Surface Transportation Program Funds for Northern Kentucky, or S&K, $11 million in Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Funds, or CMAQ, and $19 million in Surface Transportation Program Funds for Ohio, or STP, $86,000 in Surface Transportation Program Funds for Indiana, or STP. This gives OKI more than $36 million in funding to pass through for local projects in the region. Generally, a 20% non-federal or local match is required. Remember that the $36 million goes to projects in the OKI 2030 plan and the TIP. They must be listed to be eligible. That's where the OKI board comes in. Projects with strong local and regional support will be most successful in obtaining funding and getting implemented. We'd like to tie up this "What does OKI do for you in the region" conversation with a discussion of the bottom line, the return on our region's investment in OKI. On the region's behalf, all 8 counties contribute on a per capita basis dues to OKI in the amount of approximately $668,000 to match federal funds used to run the agency. This $668,000 investment makes OKI communities eligible for approximately $36 million for local projects and OKI staff expertise in planning, as discussed earlier. That's a great return on our investment. And it's collective input that helps develop the projects and programs for the region and how this money will be best spent. The question in your mind right now is probably, how do I find out more about this $36 million in funding and OKI's planning services? I'll tell you how. As a board member, come to OKI, attend board meetings, and participate to ensure that projects are well planned. Represent your jurisdiction, organization, or agency and work together across boundaries as a region to the best of your ability. All the projects mentioned in this video are the result of multi-agency, public-private involvement. Nothing happens in isolation. Coordination, cooperation, and communication is key, and that is why it is our motto at OKI. This concludes our overview presentation. As an additional resource, we invite you to visit our website, www.oki.org. Here you will find volumes of materials and detailed information on the projects discussed in this presentation, as well as many others. You can also access the latest information about upcoming meetings, events, and opportunities at OKI. Checking out our website frequently will keep you in the know about the latest OKI happenings. Feel free to contact any member of the OKI staff with questions, suggestions, or concerns. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to serving you for years to come as we work to improve the quality of life for our entire region.